Some white dots lower left. Is that an urchin on the top? Or not an urchin, but an enemy?
Where?
Or just a
Yeah,
shadow?
that's watch lead.
It's a rock or shadow. A stalk in the upper left and a bit behind it.
Yeah, I'm a little far away.
Something orange on the right hand side of the rock.
Is it shrimp?
You're pretty far out ahead of me, Dave.
Okay.
The white dot on the right.
Let's look what's under this rock first.
Okay.
Come in.
It's another one of these
Not
mysterious mucus nets that we've been seeing. Oh, some sponge spicules left in there.
I don't know if there's sponge spicules. Maybe. I don't know. Some type of thing that got caught in the mesh.
Video's clear.
That's enough on this amount.
There was like a white disc on that which that's a dead sponge stock, I guess. There's also a white sort of dot on the right side there.
All right. Come in for the dot.
Dead stock, I
And
think.
another stock. Freaking sponges in their stocks.
Got a real eye for those, Chris. Real eye for those, Chris.
There used to be a lot of stuff here.
Right,
One
Copilot,
of
you should
the,
start feeling serious
interesting
swinging
visual
now.
exercises of surveying a terrain like this is that
Interesting.
amongst all of the dark background, we have these little sand pools, and they often have sort of star-shaped to round-shaped outlines. So when I and my video colleagues are looking for things that we might possibly
crinoid top.
visualize, we go
Right.
immediately to that and then realize, nope, it's just geology fooling you.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you said go for that.
I will do.
Yeah. Copy.
So I am stunned on how barren it's been actually of biology. It has been a little slow starting out.
Yeah. Let's
know,
get a quick zoom on this crinoid just
Sure.
to see which one it is. Thank you.
Come in.
Wow, what is going on with the Siri on this thing?
Well, looks the basal ones, the ones closer to the deductive. I think I saw something like that before.
Maximum.
And at the top, it sort of has a single set of branches coming out in alternating fashion. Could be umbellapathes. It could be a long bathopathes of some kind, something like that. Okay, Sako's got it back, so then maybe Tina's got it back too. And she can get a look and help us out with this. And she specializes in these animals.
Let's go full screen.
Okay.
Very long stalk on this thing, which is kind of reminiscent of umbellapathes, with just a single plume coming out on one side. But let's see what Tina has to say.
Video's clear. Whatever science is.
We're good. Thank you.
Okay. So the current is pushing me sideways along this now. It's out of maybe the northwest.
The northwest. Okay.
It's fairly significant. A little lower, there wasn't much current at all.
You said it was current out of the northwest
Out of
part?
the northwest.
Northwest. Okay. Just making
Oh,
a note in the
Look
log.
at this. Let's look at this squat lobster. I mean, it's a what do you call it? Blind
I want to
lobster.
sit down super
Aquila-
close to this.
Yeah,
Oh, what's it called?
Oh, polychelidie?
Polychelidid. Yeah.
I was punching stuff in. I didn't even see that guy up here. There's a nice find.
And around to the
Have we seen
front
a
right.
polychelid so far this cruise?
Not on this cruise. I don't think I've seen one since Diva's cruise.
Right. So these are lobsters. These are what are considered living fossil lobsters, if you will. That's the way I like to think of them. I don't know how true that is, but
Well, we're all living fossils, but
right.
sure.
Okay, come on in.
But they're really unusual.
Bounce around a little.
Lasers.
Odd though. I thought they were burrowers. It's just sort of sitting there out on the
Co-pilot,
open. It's interesting.
releases, please. Sure.
One tilt down.
Is this something that you've seen before, Chris?
Oh yeah, quite a few times. It's Homerion asper, maybe. That's one of the species that we noted in Hawaii, but Homerion is one idea, and then honestly I don't know how many different species there are. Check and see if Mary updated any of their IDs on this.
When did that move stop now?
There is no lobster category
Max,
here.
52.
In our
So it's
sea
been done for
spread,
6 minutes.
Okay.
What do
so
you-
Yeah, so
probably
we're
at
not,
the tail end here. If any.
yeah, I wouldn't think you're swinging
Where?
anymore.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not that family, but that's okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change the family. I'm going to cheat. Yep.
Okay, go full screen.
Chris, to answer your question, I just did a search, and apparently there are 38 species of these blind benthic lobsters, the Polychelidae.
So we can
Beautiful view of it.
so we can definitely go to species, right, Scott? Thank you very much for that.
Go ahead, Chris.
I love how
I'll go to a
the
medium shot.
claws on this one have that sort of ribbon-ended tip. Neat animal.
All right, so every image of this in the Okeanos Animal Guide that Mary Wickstein down in Texas A&M has reviewed, she's actually gone to Homerion asper, to that species. So at least we can put a question mark on it.
Okay, video's clear.
All right.
Science is clear.
Neat.
That
Thank
brings
you.
our time to an end.
So,
Very happy
Just
to
watch as you're back in here.
okay.
See some rocks behind you.
I see that.
happy to see the bottom with you guys, even if it was for only 20 minutes.
So, as we roll around to noon here, Hawaii time, we're seeing our first row of engineers and pilots engaging in their scheduled switch out so that the team that's been with us for the last couple of hours can go get their lunch, and our fresh team can come in and take over for them. So this is Okeanos Explorer.
Hey, does Fernando
currently
know
in
that
the
he needs
middle
to be
of
there?
an exploration of an
I don't know.
unknown or
I'm not sure his
previously
time
unknown
schedule.
Fernando.
seamount
Oh, okay. I don't
at
know.
a depth of 2,275 meters. We've been climbing a
Pilot,
ridge
I was just told we're
for the
getting onto that
last,
ridge that they
few
wanted to get
minutes,
to.
and we've just seen a lot of interesting deep sea critters, including a blind lobster, a member of the Polychelidae, as well as some interesting
Yeah, but ship stopped. Yeah, we want to make some
Christgorgia
way
or
uphill
gold
to find a
corals, as
more
well as some black corals.
populous area.
And looks like we're
Sponge
Last move was
pilots are back
060.
on, and so we're
Current 0 setting.
moving forward.
Actually, I think that might be.
If we could stop and zoom in on
Anemone.
the sea anemone real quick.
There we go. Okay, let's get in there. I'm gonna get a toe down here.
So what we're zooming in on is an example of how even dead animals still provide habitats for any number of other organisms. This is what appears to be a dead sponge stock from a glass sponge.
Clear to zoom.
And what's happened is that it's provided a home for several other organisms.
Partial.
This, for example, is a sea anemone. I believe it's a flytrap anemone, and these will settle on these
because of the
stalks in
pink
order to
thing
take
on the
advantage
top,
of the water
the-
current.
the-
As you can sort of see from the way the tentacles are extended out into the water, they're predatory, so probably catching little crustaceans and so forth. But sometimes you can hide a little critter right around the mouth of something, and here we see a cute little polychaete worm. I believe that's a scale worm, and it's living right on the surface of this flytrap anemone. I've seen other examples of this where the thinking is that the worm actually takes advantage of the food that the sea anemone eats.
Okay, you
The
can
worm,
travel down,
the
I'll
sea
follow
anemone doesn't
focus.
really benefit a lot from the worm itself, as far as I know, but there are often examples where the benefit to both parties is unclear. As we spool down the stalk, and there's another polychaete. We're seeing examples of brittle stars in the family Okeacanthidae. These are frequently
Gonna pull out to
commensals
reveal the
or
others with it below.
animals that live on stalks rising up above the bottom of the seafloor. Again, these are probably taking advantage of the water current as organic particles or other types of small food are brought by the ocean
Go ahead and
currents
tilt
by
down
them.
a little more.
And these are captured on the spines that the arms are covered with, and at some point the tube feet sort of wipe them off and move them to the mouth for food. Looks like a lot of these are less in feeding mode and more in holding on mode. Oh, and look at this. There's actually a little black coral right down at the bottom.
Chris, we were talking about associates earlier of the Christgorgia octocoral. So here's an example of associates associated with a sponge, in this case a dead sponge, But then we even had associates on the associates. You were talking about
Go ahead and tilt back up to
scale
the lower worm.
polychaete worms that were on the anemone. And as you noted, that is not an unusual observation, which suggests that there may be a scale worm species that is preferentially on these anemones.
That's right, and every animal that you're seeing here is conceivably something that is also unknown to science, and so there's still yet a lot to learn from surveys of these kinds of relationships. So as long as we're here, Pilot, I understand that you've just all had a big change out.
We have. This is the after lunch bunch.
I'm delighted to have you all here. Perhaps you could introduce yourselves.
I'm Dave Wright, sitting in the pilot's chair at the moment with the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration. We operate the ROVs for NOAA. To my left, I have
Fernando Aragon, sitting as navigator.
to my right,
Andy Lister, sitting as co-pilot.
and far right in video,
This is Roland Bryan, just off camera.
And Tara Smithy, clipping the video.
And this is Chris Ma from the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History. I'm the co-biology lead for this expedition. We're assisted by
Nicola Rodriguez from the University of Hawaii at Hilo.
and currently engaging with other expedition details is Chris Kelly from the University of Hawaii. So, and we're moving along this
looking
ridge
over at 060. Is that going to be the
completely undiscovered and unexplored
matchup with
seamount.
HIPAC for our next move?
This area was only just mapped this morning, and so
Your last move was 060. Right now, the bearing to the waypoint 2 is about 065. I don't know what, according to HIPAC,
and so
I mean,
we're
according to sonar, that looks like the slope. So
moving upslope.
yeah, I mean, 065 would be.
I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with that too.
Okay, are you guys good with a
Oh,
20
yeah.
or 30 meter?
Oh,
move?
30 at least. 30.
30 is good, okay.
Yeah.
Coming
Maybe-
up,
maybe
30
more.
at 065.
We'll try to find some life down here.
Leapfrogged out front. I'll get
Bridge,
down
nav.
into it again.
This is the bridge. Go ahead.
We're ready for another move, which is going to be 30 meters, 065, 0.2.
You're pulling me just a little bit.
Range.
I see you
30
coming on over
meters.
there.
Bearing 065. Speed 0.2 knots.
That is correct.
Coming up.
Swimming object at the top.
Yeah. Let's okay, zoom. And coming right just a smidge.
I once again stepped out for a moment. And did I miss anything, Chris, except for polychaete worm?
We did a little bit of a survey on
They're
a
probably good with
flytrap
that.
anemone
he's
with
swimming
some
hard to get up
polychaetes
current
and
there.
a little
Already.
black coral, and but mostly
Where he
we've
hopes
just
to go.
yeah. The front row had a moment to introduce themselves, and
ROV
we're just
nav,
sort of moving
move
along
initiated.
on course up the slope.
Great.
Cover bridge, thank you.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Can tilt down a little bit. Interesting the way those
So
flares
why
come in.
this
The
seamount
rays.
doesn't have a lot of things on it, and yesterday's seamount had a ton of stuff on it. That's what we're trying to figure out. It's a little bit incomprehensible. I get it, there's not much current, but
Well, since
we're not
there's,
exactly in a different ocean here, not that far away from the other seamount.
there's
So
nothing fascinating to look at the moment, so I will just let go and let myself drift.
Nav, do you know what we need to average to get to final waypoint?
Stand by, co-pilot.
I would guesstimate the current out of 330. And somewhere between half, 3/4 of a knot, maybe. That's totally a guess.
Let's see what we got. Let me get caught up on the chat here.
Stick coming upper right of lasers.
Okay, they're talking about
like
you
crinoid.
know, we saw a little bit earlier on.
So the time, the average time would be 0.04 knots.
So we got
Is that going through waypoint 2 or just
pretty hard
straight to waypoint
substrate
3?
here, and it looks volcanic,
straight,
I
but
guess.
it's pretty much the
Yeah,
same.
I'd say
Yeah.
so.
There's one dead sponge stock over there, but nothing else.
Yeah.
And you don't see a lot of the skeletons. You see an occasional skeleton or here, but there are skeletons all over the place.
Yeah, there's a dead one up there.
Yeah. So kind of, I look at the skeletons when we get down, and if there are a lot of skeletons on the ground already, then it's good. It's a good indication that there's something of slope.
But wait.
But there just isn't here. Nothing's found this
saw
place.
one
What
probably
is that?
10
Is
minutes
that
before
one?
you came
It's a
through.
crinoid.
Is it kind
To
of?
the
Oh,
left there, right?
Zoom, please.
Yeah.
is it just on the rock? I mean, up above. Oh, okay, we're getting this, but there's something on the rock top center too after this.
Okay, let's come out a little bit, Rolly.
I think that's another crinoid, actually.
Yeah, but it could be that weird purple one. There it is. If we can go top center.
Where it is?
What is that? Or is
it
that
back
just
here?
a? It's
To
an
the right.
optical illusion. I'm sorry, it's an optical illusion. There's not. That's
No,
not
there's a-
sleepy eyes,
oh.
is it?
There's a
Oh,
busted.
what happens to the
Oh,
best of us,
there's
even if we're
one.
completely refreshed? I
There's
mean,
one
there's
coming
something up
close.
there that looks like
Partial
a,
zoom.
Yeah.
a sponge, but I think it's just a saddle of
Snap
sediment.
on this just for ID.
Yeah. And there's another
another
little
one?
crinoid. At least the crinoids have found this
Okay,
place.
wide.
Yeah, well, it's always a. It doesn't take much to filter feed, presumably, so it's always a good place for it if there's current.
Yeah. So what is wrong with this place? And what's so right about yesterday's place?
I'm gonna
Maybe
peer into
there's
the
a whole
sand
bunch of
range
possible
here.
explanations. It could just be young. Could be there's too much current preventing anything from settling.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go max zoom and just see if there's anything living amongst the sand grains here.
Or, as Dave may illustrate, it's all here. It's just very small.
A second, I'll get myself steadied up.
What are we looking at? I wasn't paying attention to the pilot.
I believe this is Dave's
Sediment
close
view?
up. Of,
Yeah, small world.
some
Now
sediment.
something is aggregated this here. There's a couple of little lumps as if they've been stuck onto one of those small things.
That's grasping, Dave. That's grasping.
Well, sure.
I know. We're all kind of grasping. I just asked for a rock zoom on a rock that looked like a crinoid, right?
Well, here we go. Here's
Boy.
here's something here on the right. What is that?
That's probably a foram, the test of one of those amoebas.
Okay.
Looks like it has a pteropod shell stuck on it.
Well,
it's
I'm
a
not
small mollusk.
I'm not a scientist. I can engage in wild speculation without embarrassment, and then you guys can correct me.
There's something on that ledge. Could be a sponge, believe it or not.
ROV nav, move complete.
Copy, bridge. The move was just complete. Do you guys want to keep moving?
Yes.
Copy.
Yes.
Same bearing, same
Yes.
range.
Yes.
30 meters, 065.
Copy.
Yep. Let's do it.
Bridge, this is nav.
This is the bridge.
Down to fuzzy.
Let's get the same move in. That's going to be range 30 meters, bearing 065, speed 0.2.
Oh, that's interesting. There's a little
Yeah,
hydrozone
it's
or
range
something.
30.
I don't know what it is.
Bearing
I'm studying it right
065.
now.
Speed 0.2.
That is correct, bridge. Thank you.
Already done.
We got any more zoom rolling?
That is max.
Max.
Bruce Mundy was asking for the quad screen view be put back on camera 3. Yeah. You guys have got
What's
a
up?
chance? Great, thank you.
What else you got?
Let's see here.
ROV nav bridge, move initiated.
Copy bridge.
Well, I'm not sure there's going to be a lot of wows today, Chris. I don't know. It's still early. Still got time, but...
We'll see. We saw that the polychelid lobster.
Yeah, and we did see the Sariantid that we collected. That was
Yeah, we
sort
can
of a
come
wow, but we
wide.
wowed that the other day when we first seed it.
Those are
So it
big
wasn't
and
like
fuzzy.
a new wow.
See those?
That's kind of a secondary wow.
Make a little jump here.
Well,
So
I
white
live in
thing
hope
up ahead.
we'll make best of it, and I'm sure we'll see something good. Besides, there's always one thing I have noticed is that the sea stars always come out right at the end, like a good movie.
So, where are we with respect to this ridge? I mean, I understand we've climbed up the sort of western flank of this ridge feature, and now we have turned, I think, and are moving along the axis, but are we in the center near the edge, or is it actually too wide to have a clearly defined center?
Now, do you want to
Thorium,
take
right?
that one, or would you like me to respond?
Come again, video?
Let's go look at this.
Sorry,
sea
I
cucumber.
can respond to his
that was watch
question
lead.
there. So, Scott, we are kind of right, according to the bathymetry, we're right at the beginning of the higher point of the crest, where we're sort of in the
Steps in
saddle on the
the,
crest. So we come up
Rhinoid here, and then
from the
we'll go to
sediment
Holothurian.
up the back western slope, and now we're
Okay,
on the
wide,
crest,
please.
and we're in the process of turning to the north a bit to run up along toward the summit of this, and we're probably right dead center of the crest, and I think they're moving slightly to the eastern side, and they're going to try to climb up a little bit along the eastern side. But this should have good
Yeah, I
current.
just opened camera 3, Chris, so I could have a look. So the reason I asked that is I'm wondering if maybe you're being negative because we're still a little bit on the lower, flatter part of
Okay,
this
could you
ridge.
zoom?
So perhaps as we move up, things might improve. I'm gonna stay optimistic.
Yeah, so Scott, I'm going to try to neutralize your optimism because you know I believe in the law of negativity, which basically states that if you expect the worst, the good things or the best happen, and if you expect the best, worst things happen. And so when I express negativity, I am trying to ensure a positive.
But you're
that-
fundamentally optimistic, so that's a fantastically bizarre set of magic you're working there, Chris.
After
That's
this next
fine.
move, Dave, we might
That's
want
how
to
it
look
works.
north
Magic
because
has its rules.
I have a feeling it might start going
Thank you,
north.
Dave.
What do you think?
So this is
I
a
guess
sea
you'll see when
cucumber.
you get
This
up
looks
there.
like Hansenothuria. You can
Video's
see the
clear
clear
whenever.
gut, and one of my favorite things to look at. I never get tired of watching an animal digest its lunch, and we get to see it poop. So the day is young, but we can move on. Thank you, Dave.
Wide, please.
So these things are really common down here, aren't they? That's the most common sea cucumber. I mean, this species for the Johnston Monument in general.
It does seem to be present through. It's one of our consistently encountered
Fuzzy on the
animals.
right.
Yeah,
And that's always
gain up,
fascinating.
roll in
I'd
to
have
look
to look
into
back,
the far
but I
distance
almost think
here.
we've seen one every dive.
Oh, I'd say that's right.
Yeah, all right, I'm going to run over to the edge of this ridge here.
So Scott, you're getting a good look
How
from
far are we in that move
Dave
now?
Wright now, the pilot,
Well,
who's going to give
We're
you a look on
almost
the eastern
at the
side
end
of
of
the
the
ridge.
second move.
Okay,
I'm pretty
great.
sure
You can see from this view
you're
that
finishing
it's
the
just
first one, so
kind of a barren ridge, actually.
Okay, that's the east side. I'm going to pop over to the west side. So the axis.
Yeah, this is interesting. You know, back in
is-
2015, I know you will
north,
recall that
correct.
we had
Next
selected
move.
several.
I might go a little bit
interesting
past it, but we can
looking
move
from
me
a
back, I
topographic
guess.
standpoint, geos that had these smaller cones on the top of the flatter top, and we were hoping that those.
yeah, according to HiPAC, the
cones,
slope
their
starts
shape,
to be
and
about
the fact that they were relatively shallow
340,
compared to the whole feature
350.
would be great places to accelerate current, and so find
And you said we're done with that
high-density
move?
communities. And we're diving on
we're pretty much
something
done
like
with the
that
second
today.
one, but I
Somewhat
don't think
different
you have
shape,
felt
but
it yet.
essentially the same concept. And yeah, this is what we saw a lot. We
RV
were
nav
often
bridge,
disappointed that
move
we weren't
Copy
finding
bridge.
the higher density communities. I think we did on one or two occasions find moderate densities, but nothing like the beautiful locations we were seeing yesterday and earlier this week.
So from where I
so it's
sit-
one of these cases where just when you think you're starting to get a handle on something, then you have a setback caused by a fact.
it's due north from me.
You know,
Okay.
it's
We can. I can
it's
turn
always
towards you,
wonderful
and we
to
can kind of move you
speculate that
back
all of these
to take
ridges,
some
and
of
this
that
is the
extra
same
swing out.
orientation. This ridge,
Okay.
you're pretty close to it. It's a smaller type ridge feature, but it's kind of the same orientation as yesterday.
So now we're going to try to minimize
Thinking we're
that
getting a
overswing
handle
there
on it, and then
for this next move.
Okay.
we get this.
So you want the next move to
But
be
the day is young. We are
a little
moving
bit
our way
west
up
of north?
slope.
Yes, I would think so.
And
Because he's facing.
we got plenty of
Almost north,
chances
and I'm-
to see
Yeah.
glorious communities.
Yes.
I live in hope.
Yes.
There you
So
go. Now you're
350
sounding more
would be okay.
optimistic. I like that. What we need to find is
Yeah,
more
I'd be okay with that.
micro topography, some very pronounced knolls and pillows that are sticking out that might locally accelerate the currents. Maybe that would help.
Yeah, good point, Scott. Water has got to make its way around these kind of barriers, and that's the thing that we try to cue on. And
This
a
is
lot of the
bridge,
water
right?
in deep water, I think. Go ahead, Scott.
Range 20
I'm sorry, yeah, I'm sorry to talk over you. We may have just passed another one of those stock whatevers that we were trying to image
Range
before
20
that was
meters,
blowing so much
bearing
in that
350,
strong current. It was
speed
very,
0 decimal.
very small, but we're too
Coming
far
up.
past it to look back.
So this looks like a dead
So
sponge
stock
stock,
being
Chris?
kind
Coming
of
up
lower
on-
center.
I think so.
To the right.
It looks like it's dead.
Just going off the bottom.
There might be some brittle stars on it, so it may be worth
Yeah.
a look.
Another one of those cucumbers down to the right.
Oh yeah.
Dave is right now kind of like a shark confronted with a school of fish trying to decide what target to pick. So it's amazing he was able to spot the sponge stock. Was that a little
we nav, move
sarcastic
initiated.
or what? No, that was a negative again. Sorry. Okay, I'm being optimistic.
Okay, we can zoom here. Roll.
I think it was the only game in town.
Off to the right edge
At
may have been a
least right
stock
here.
crinoid.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just going for the low hanging fruit.
Yeah,
here.
so this is sort of similar to the thing that we saw a little earlier. The stock of the sponge is gone for whatever reason, and a couple of brittle stars have availed
Co-pilot, you
themselves
have to be
of,
aware of the tether.
its
I think you're
body
moving.
to
Should be
perch
moving away from him.
take advantage
Thank you.
of the water current so they can feed, presumably.
Video's clear.
So I've got a potentially stupid question, Chris.
Sure.
Have we ever seen a brittle star bail from a dead sponge stock like we have from the corals? And by bailing, they just let go and they drop down? Have we ever seen that?
I don't know. I don't. That's a good point. I don't know that we have. These might be engaged in something else because it looks like they're coiled quite tightly. Usually, when we see them on corals, they're kind of moving around through the branches. It also could be that these are separate species, so it's hard to say. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting hypothesis.
Camera zooming on its
You know,
own.
do they are they a little more active when you see them on corals, and you know, what's the difference between this and something alive? You know, so what's the dynamic?
Chris, I'll say that it's an interesting question. I don't believe I've ever seen them bailing off of the sponge stock.
Yeah, and that's what came up about it. I don't remember him ever bailing off the sponge
Whip
stock
near
either.
the left leg.
It's always the corals for some reason. And now I'll kind of use it. Well, let's hear about the sea cucumber first. Sorry.
No, that's fine. This one looks a little different from the Hansenothuria that we were looking at earlier.
When did
this
that
one
move
has
at
more
60
sort of
degrees
tube
end
feet
now?
or suckers
Should have
on
been
the
there
surface.
5 minutes ago.
But
Did
again,
5 minutes ago.
translucent body wall.
Yep.
The mouth
Okay,
is
that
on
should
the
be the
left
end of my
side.
swing that way.
The
We'll
anus is
center
on
up.
the right, and it's essentially photobombed by a little swimming polychaete worm. And essentially, they devour the ooze that comes down and works its way into the sediment, and you can see right through its body wall, so you can tell what it's been eating and where it's going. They take advantage of the nutritious material, the organic material from the sediment, and that actually transforms the basis of the sediment after it's discarded by the animal. So these play an ecological role, sort of like earthworms do in terrestrial ecosystems.
I
Videos
think
clear.
this is a synallactid, Chris. Would you agree or not? I mean, it's transparent like
Yeah,
synallactids.
it looks similar. The suckers are throwing me, though, so...
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Oh, is that a stock crinoid on the horizon?
Could
I
there
think
be
so.
something?
I think the one I saw
could
is
be.
just left.
We're holding our breath.
Oh, no, it's one of Tina's things.
It's another one of these black corals, is
Yeah.
that right?
I think so. Yeah, it's
Come on
got that
in.
kind of stock crinoid-ish appearance. Oh, no, it's not. It's I
It's
was
a
totally wrong.
chrysogorgid.
Huh. Weird.
Wait.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
a
ROV nav, move
chrysogorgia.
completed.
Boy, that's a young
Copy,
one, I
Bridge.
guess. This be an iridogorgia, a really small iridogorgia, Scott?
Yep. Excuse me. Yes, that's exactly what it is. A small iridogorgia, and that bodes well for continuing upslope. I see that it's missing some tissue from the lower side of the skeleton, and a couple of branches have broken off, and so I still think it's a young one. I don't think it's an old one that is falling apart because of the width, the diameter of the skeleton. And it seems to have a very big swoop or curvature to the spiral of the axis. So it's possible that this is a young Iridogorgia magnispiralis, and that species, as the name suggests, is hallmarked by the wide spiral.
Snap soon.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. And now those are really tightly wound,
Yeah.
woutly tined around that sponge stock.
Yeah.
And wide, please.
Did look on the view just before we were coming in here is that on the downslope side, which I believe is the main slope facing the current, it looked like there were a lot more stalks or several stalks. So who knows?
All right, co-pilot, the last move just stopped.
Well,
I'm gonna
something's
call
showing
another
up.
30-meter move.
Not
Let's
exactly
give me a
healthy
moment
yet,
to make sure the
except for
swing's
the
done
brittle
this way.
stars, but
Copy.
But I think we might want to go more at 340 rather than 350.
I'm looking three.
Possible
three,
starfish.
330 even, yeah.
Possible starfish center screen.
Okay, Rolly, talk me in.
Don't check. It's just dust.
Chris, there's a lot of rock rubble here. Do you already have two rocks? Or
yeah, you took the words.
wait until you get higher
Sponge on
up?
that little rock.
Yeah, you
just
took the
below
words
lasers.
right out of my mouth. I know that Dave never likes to deploy the manipulator ever, and he's on the pilot right now. But I wonder if we could twist his arm to start looking for possible second rock, since there are a lot of loose ones here.
Sure. We'll just rock on down here.
I said that because when I got on the ship, Dave's first comment was, whatever you got to do with that manipulator, I'm there. If you got
There's
any?
one up ahead with his round sponge on it.
I think everybody, all of the pilots are the same way. It's just. Where is that? You mean the dead one? Off screen right. Well, yeah, if you see something on the right side.
Oh, off there? In the
Where is-
distance?
Where's
Yeah.
he talking? I still don't see
You mean
what
on
he's-
the upper right?
Upper right now.
Okay, here we go.
We're trying to find a rock that might
Do you
have
want lasers on to help you
creature on
locate?
it
Or
that might give a.
Oh, rock with creature? Well, that's
Yeah.
what Rolly's
Oh, no, I
offering
think
us
that's
here.
an
Let's go
illusion.
look.
Yeah.
There's two different kinds. There's a
No, the main thing, as you
Thin
know, Dave, the criteria here is angular with some girth, looking very volcanic-ish. That's our criteria for a rock.
That looks like the whole world in front of me.
There's something orange down there. I think that maybe it looks a little.
Oh, I was going for the lower right.
what's
It
this?
doesn't-
The
Yes.
lower right.
There's
That's
like
what I
two
was-
of them.
There's a ball on the lower
And we
right.
could do a
Yeah,
20
that's
meter
what
at
we were looking
330
at.
as soon as pilot's happy with that.
Might as well zoom in on it. It's something
Yeah.
alive.
Come on in, Roland. Let's see what this thing is here.
You said
Oh,
20
okay.
meters?
Yeah, we haven't
20,
seen this
yeah.
for a while.
330.
This is great.
So let's check with pilot
This
first.
is a a hyalonematid sponge.
Also note
It's
the
closely related to the polyoptodon,
the
big
holding
massive
things
sponges,
go
but it's in
below
a
it.
different family. It's got the Lophophytus attachment to it. And we collected one of these sponges, two of them actually, in last year, I think. And it's called Hyalonema subgenus Corinonema. And these are a treat. I don't know why I'm infatuated with these sponges, but I really am. They're really
Excellent.
weird looking. It's a cool family.
Well, it looks like a bunch of fiber optic cable wrapped up in a balloon.
But I think this is the first one of these things that we've seen on this cruise.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I would remember something that looked like this.
Those tilt
Yeah, so
straight
they get
down to see
quite
what the other
large.
fibers are.
And yeah, they're really distinctive. When you have them in the lab, you can very quickly discern whether or not they're in that family by their spicules. They have very conspicuous microscopic
video's
parts
clear.
or spicules that are called amphidiscs. And amphidiscs are the actual origin of the
Come on
name for
out.
the order Amphidiscophora, because all of the members of that have this very distinctive type of spicule. So, and the other one is actually, could be even the same thing further out, but let's see if we can get a nice chunk of pillow lava here.
Yeah.
A lot of-
Okay.
There's another sponge on the left there.
yeah, and it looks like it's just a larger version. They can get a little more translucent as they get larger.
If I call in a
Is it
15 meter
attached?
move right
I
now
wonder
in
if we
that
could get the
direction, I think we
lasers
should be
on
fine.
this
We
one.
shouldn't go over him.
Unless they're already on.
I'd rather just wait a moment here. Nav,
So, please.
you have hydraulics are ramped up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This
Interesting.
they start to develop a little more of an osculum on the top.
Little right, please.
But again, it's that attachment that's the real giveaway. You see how it sort of flares out like a broom or something on the bottom.
Huh.
It's got some weird multi-oscula on top, which is kind of strange. But definitely hyalonematid. Yeah, it's got a little different arrangement up there. Don't know what to make of that, but
It's weird that the
Okay, wide,
holdfast
please.
looks like it's dead before the actual body.
I don't think there's any tissue on those spicules, and so they tend to collect
Something else
there's-
just
yeah,
below
Did I
that.
say that right? There isn't any tissue on those
poke around
modified
a little bit
spicules
here.
called basalia, and that's why they can collect sediment. and
okay.
things.
So the previous pilot alerted me to some funniness in the arm, so I'm gonna do a little warm up here and make sure everything's
Co-pilot, you're not planning on opening any bio boxes, right?
No, I'm not.
That all seems happy for the moment.
It's a little flat.
A little flat?
Yeah.
Okay. How about
Can we get the lasers on, Dave, so we can get
Sure,
an idea
lasers coming on.
how big they are?
Co-pilot is.
There they
Lasers
go.
are on.
That one's
Yeah.
flat too.
Maybe just below and left of the dead spot.
How about this guy here?
Nav, how long ago did that last ship move end?
That's
Six.
okay.
Should have been about 9 or 10 minutes ago.
It actually ended 9 minutes ago?
It should have, yeah.
Okay, well, I got 9 minutes of layback then.
It's too flat.
Everything here looks.
Yeah, maybe we can just move along, and if we see one that's got some girth, we
Yeah.
can.
Just bump up the hill just a little bit here. We can leave the hydraulics spun up there.
Sure.
Co-pilot. And I'll just keep the arm handy here.
What is that? It's just a rock. Okay.
Here's a big fella.
Yeah,
up
that's.
here.
Is that too big?
I don't know. It's
Well, that is. That would be great. If that were possible. It's meaty.
we.
That's a big one.
We always endeavor to greatness here. Let's just.
It might be two of them, or is that all just one?
What's the state of our starboard rock box there, co-pilot? It looks to be empty.
That's a Nav question. Nav, do we have any rocks in?
We have a port forward.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, then our starboard forward is free.
Is that about 50 centimeters?
It's,
60.
It's, I just
Little
like
bit.
to get a hold of it and see what it looks
And
like.
co-pilot.
Don't forget, we have to get off the bottom, too.
Well, we have a drop weight.
What if?
Co-pilot, just be advised
get
that
the lasers
in the
down
port
on it.
inner bio box, there's a floater, so if we
Okay.
don't open it, that'd be the best.
I will plan to not open it.
So, it is big. Just curious here. I'm not promising to bring it home. I'm just interested in seeing if it's even doable.
Hey, if you grab it, you buy it, pilot.
Jelly underneath just
Something
came out.
from underneath it. Is it one of those hydrozoans?
Oh,
that came out?
maybe one of those jellyfish that live on the underside of the rock.
Underside. And he just took off.
It's the first time I've had one so heavy it came out of the jaws.
So who gets the work out of taking this out of the box and hauling it into the lab?
This is probably a good opportunity to introduce our intern, or our data manager, Matt.
Hey Bruce, this is Matt. Yeah, I usually get to carry most of the rocks. And today Chris and I both did a rock box restructuring, so we took all the rocks to the top deck. So that was very entertaining and a good workout as well.
Yeah, I had to change shirts after that.
Yes, fortunately,
Dave,
once the ship
This
comes,
one might be too heavy.
Yep, this is.
once the ship comes back to
exceeds
the
our
dock,
capacity.
we cheat. We use a forklift.
Yeah. I
What I
will.
wanted to find out, just whoops, wrong button.
Yeah, let's see if we can go for one that's we spot from a distance is a little more reasonable. That would be. I think we're going to find a lot of loose ones here. So.
There's some other stuff right nearby here.
Chris, I was wondering if the side of that rock just broke off on the last attempt to pick it up and hidden on the right side.
Now here we have angular.
Yeah. How about, is that too long? This angular one that's to the left near the.
Oh, we're just looking at the one right under the laser, simply because it's
that's
the squarest of them all.
That's
but
a good one.
we have many to choose from here, so we can.
Let's try the one you got your lasers on. That actually looks like a broken pillow segment. Unless John differs. I know John's on. He usually watches in the background in his office.
I'm on and dialed in.
Oh.
I'm on and dialed in.
Oh, good. So John, what do you think about this one? He's about to grab it.
Is that the one you were messing around with?
No, that's too big, John. This one's a bit smaller, but it's got a lot of nice angles on it.
Yeah, let me see when he picks it up.
Zoom, please, Roland. Oh, let me get it up in the light here. Tilt him up. There we go.
Yeah, not bad. It's a little small, but...
Well, let me show him the rest of the selection here because there's several right in front. Wide, please. So let me just set this aside.
I know my sights are a little bit big, but I was actually looking at that sort of elongate, longer one over to the left.
You were probably looking at this one?
A little bit further over.
Oh, that guy.
That one, yeah, because it's got a really nice flat face on it.
Yeah, that wedge-shaped one?
Yeah, that's what we're going to try to go for here.
Might be just out of reach. See if I can.
Yeah, so far I like that one better.
Drag it over to me.
Turning out to be a little bigger than I thought, but he's got it. A little flat, John. I don't know.
Tilt me up a little bit, please, co-pilot.
Copy that. Taking camera.
I think it's too flat, Dave.
Okay. Wide, please, video.
Yeah.
So, let me try this. And tilt me back down.
Tilting down. You want to try that one that's right there?
Yeah.
This one right here. The deal about rocks is that if you get a good one, it's extremely valuable. The tricky part is finding the good ones when they're what you're really interested in is hidden underneath layers of manganese crust.
Well, now I can see
that one looks pretty good, I think.
So we have two finalists here. We have the original squarish one and the one in the gripper. Or we can poke around some more.
Let's take this one in the gripper, I think.
Okay.
John, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, I was actually looking at that one before the other one as it was laying there. It looked pretty good.
Let's bring the starboard wing in.
Looks pretty good.
Spin around and look at it.
Yep, bring a starboard wing in.
Yeah, I think so.
And board coming in.
Okay, we have a keeper. We could take a look at what those white things are.
That's just fragments of the rock
fragments.
behind it. Okay, well, that kind of looks a little carbonate-y there.
Yeah, let's go with it. I think
Okay.
that'll work for us. Thank you.
Okay, so it's all the way inward. If you would like minis just over there, let me know.
We just need a little reset here.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Going outboard.
Had a question here from somebody. How large are the boxes that you use to collect the rocks? What are the dimensions on those?
Boy, that's a good question. I don't know because I'm an electrical guy, and I'm looking up and down the row, and we have skilled navigators, video people, and an electronics person, and all the mechanical guys are absent at the moment. But if somebody's listening from the workshop and could give us the dimensions of the rock box, that'd be nice.
So, Bruce, this is just Chris speaking as one of the people who's occasionally hauled a box out of the rock boxes. Roughly speaking, they're about the size of a milk crate, like a plastic milk crate. That's very inaccurate, but they're reasonably sized enough to accommodate.
And so we can see the rock in the box and roll
20 centimeter by 5 centimeter wide rocks.
So
you can fit a 5-gallon bucket in one.
There we go.
So I know that.
There's one with a lid and there's one without a lid, and the one without a lid, they've sometimes put in oversized rocks that aren't going to go anywhere when they surface, that are heavy enough and large enough, and probably smaller types of rocks, they've got a lid if they need to go there, and that'll make sure the rock doesn't come out during recovery. But I'm going to tell you one thing, that the boxes on the Okeanos Explorer are probably some of the best engineered collecting boxes I've certainly ever experienced. They are a work of engineering marvel. When the ROV comes up and we go down to collect the biological specimens, you can barely stand putting your hands in the water to remove the specimens because it is so cold. It maintains the cold temperature.
Yes, right? No, okay.
So, it's
90 degrees.
It's really nice. They're very heavy walled, and the animals always come up in really good condition. What is that? Is that a Chrysogorgia over to the right?
Working on it.
I think so,
I
right?
can turn that way.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't spiral. It looks more.
Oh, it's Anapathes, or excuse me,
Anapatharian. A black coral.
One of them. Yeah.
I think we're on the back side of the polyps. I think. There's also something possibly translucent, just downslope from it. Another type of coral. Are lasers still on?
They are. Swing them over there. Oops. Hang on a second. Got one toe down. There you go.
Translucent.
Clear to zoom. Coming left.
It's the bridge.
We're going upslope. I wanted to change the payload plan. Let's make it now 250.
I would like to see what Tina has to say, but I'd be
Changing
more
bail to
inclined to say this
250.
is closer to a Bathypathes type than a Parantipathes.
Yeah, that would be my guess too, just from interacting with both you and Tina over the years. The thing is, I'm not sure Tina is on right now because it's pretty late in Moscow.
Changing bail to
She's
150.
showing up in the event log because I think she wants to get the event log chat after she wakes up.
I think we should put Bathypathes. These have very large polyps relative to what I think you would see on Parantipathes. And